Chandler, congratulations on the stellar performance in the 3 mile swim. How does it feel to come in second?
Wait, second? I thought I won.
No, you got second.
No, I didn't see anyone in front of me. It was literally open water.
Yeah, well, first place just edged you out by 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
She's already dried off.
That has literally never happened in women's swimming history. Well, I guess I'm just...
Hey, George, I'll tell you, man, it feels great to come away with a victory today. I can't tell you how good it feels to show women what's possible by coming out here and stepping all over these other ladies today to take the win.
Taking home the victory in the national championships is a very impressive accomplishment. How did you train for this race?
I've literally never trained for swimming a day in my life. I came right off the couch. I guess you could say I've got like a genetic predisposition to be good at swimming or something like that.
Yeah, it's called being a man. Guys, thanks for joining us again tonight. It's weird when the consequences of insane leftist policies shows up and slaps them in the face, and everyone is surprised that, oh, we didn't know that this was going to happen. And today we're going to start out with a video. This is a Korean influencer who flew to France to do a live stream trying to debunk right-wing myths that French cities are supposedly dangerous because of the presence of African immigrants in them. Now, we talk about this all the time, about how much of a bad idea some of these policies are. But it's weird. It's rare to see these consequences play out on a live stream. So let's watch this and let me know what you think. Now, so some of it isn't, you're not going to hear the dialogue, but essentially, this guy barely stepped out of his car or out of the cab when he was attacked by a group of black guys right away. He walked literally just a few hundred meters and he got slapped in the face. He lost the shoe and they stole his tripod. Okay, so just have a listen. Oops, sorry.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you. Me, my face. Don't come to me.
So he's trying to be the nice, friendly tourist.
So my face. Yeah, my face. You don't come to me. Then you don't,
No, they're telling him no camera. He's trying.
Hello.
He's like, guys, I'm trying to show the world that you guys aren't as dangerous as those bigoted, racist right wingers claim. Come, let me show the world that you guys aren't really that dangerous. And he's live streaming.
Do you speak English? Yeah. What do you? No. 이제.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Chill. My face. My face.
This is such a bad idea.
Okay. Chill. Where's my face? Oh, fuck this way.
Sun is shining. All's good. Those stupid right wingers don't know what they're talking about. He has that smug look on his face.
I'm leaving you.
Yep. And now he's running. And now he's running. Look, okay, now.
Help me.
And now he's screaming, help me.
Please help me. Police.
Police, he's calling for the police? And then he gets cornered.
No, okay. No. Why? What do you mean? English. Please. Hey, please.
Yeah.
Please. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, I guess we were wrong. I guess the right wingers were wrong. These are perfectly safe people you let into your country. They won't randomly mug people and steal their stuff. They won't randomly grope and assault your daughters. No, they're perfectly, nice. They're perfectly safe to be let into Western civilization without proper vetting. Okay, there's a reason why you need to go through an approval process called getting a visa before you enter certain countries. And hearing leftists talk about these policies on immigration and how they are racist and how they are, it's a bad thing to have borders, and then you let these kinds of people in. Now, I was laughing because I know that he got away. He basically learned his lesson and well, I don't know if he learned his lesson, because I don't know if he did a video or a live stream saying, well, I was wrong. The right wingers are correct. This is a bad idea, letting these people, flood your country unvetted, unchecked. Okay, so I don't think he learned his lesson, unless someone else out there has a video of him essentially telling that story. Now, before we jump into the stories that we have for you today, okay, I'm a bit of a movie nut. And while I was picking up the stories, I saw this preview of He-Man. I grew up in the 80s, and He-Man was kind of big in the 80s, even though we didn't get to watch so many of his shows back in Nigeria. So I'm quite excited about the movie that's about to be launched. So I wanted to kind of watch the preview with you. And this is a recent preview. The movie is being released next month. And maybe I'll get to see it, or maybe I'll wait till it goes to streaming. Then I'll tell you what I think of the movie. So here's the preview of He-Man. I know some of you are movie nuts like me, so I just wanted to share this with you. So let's take a look. I haven't seen this, by the way. Yep, I remember this.
Adam, when you hold the magic sword, what do you say?
By the power of Grayskull.
Go on.
You know what? Even as a 49-year-old, okay, just hearing that still gives me chills. And it's like, no, I should be grown up, but I remember being a kid and watching this show and feeling chills. Another cartoon that's going to the big screen soon is Voltron, and I'm looking forward to how they'll put that one to screen. I'm wondering if they'll get it right. Now, there was a Netflix version of Voltron which I enjoyed, but they had to shoehorn sexual orientation into my childhood show. Like, I felt betrayed. Most of the show was good. There was just one slice of it that they just had to slip in, the sexual thing, but it was nice. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the show. Okay, I like that soundtrack.
It seems the prodigal prince has returned. I am a devil, but I mean to be a god.
What am I supposed to do?
You are he who will restore peace to Eternia.
Skeletor took my family, and he destroyed our world. I'm gonna fight for it.
Okay.
Mechanic. And Ram Man.
Hell yeah!
And you, Fisto! Mr. Allen!
It's Adam, dude.
Hey, put your neck away.
Let me show you what real power looks like.
Our time for talk is over.
Can you come help me with this?
It is quite heavy, so if you could just...
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay. June 5th. All right. That looks good. All right. So I just thought I'll throw that in. I hadn't seen that, and I just wanted to share that with you. So now let's jump into the heavy stuff. All right. This, the stuff that makes us want to pull out our hair. Let's get into it. I wish I could just do movie reviews or something lighthearted, but you know what? I look at the world and I'm like, is this the world my kids are going to grow up in? And I have to do this. So let's wade into the depths of despair. Okay. SPLC advocate Maya Wiley defends misrepresenting information to solicit donations. So let's watch this and then just go through this series of videos. Because it's
Is that appropriate to tell your donors, this is the extremist of the month, this hateful racist guy is really bad, send us money, but not tell those donors who you're taking their money from that we're paying this guy $140,000. Is that appropriate?
Well, we have public reporting that over a dozen donors actually said that
simple
they
question.
spent the money
Field Source 42 got 140 grand from the Southern Poverty Law Center, was featured on their webpage as extremist of the year or month or whatever they call these bad guys, and they were paying him and they were gating money. Is that appropriate? Simple question.
And donors have supported it, and they keep trying to send
doesn't
more
answer the
money
question.
to the Southern Poverty Law
No.
Center.
Is that technique appropriate? That's what I'm asking.
That is not unlawful to say that people have done
I didn't
X,
ask if
Y,
it was
or
lawful or
Z.
unlawful. As you said earlier in your testimony, the court's going to determine that when they go to when they go to trial. What I'm asking you, is it appropriate?
As I said, the donors have spoken.
So, well, she's been coached on how to avoid answering the question. Now, while this hearing was going on, okay, things get crazier and crazier, okay? So let's keep going.
Agree with the statement that Charlie Kirk was a dangerous extremist?
I can't answer the question that way. I can certainly say that
No.
statements that I am aware of that Mr. Kirk made were ones that I would consider to be dangerous.
Like which one?
And would those be the ones that he took directly from the Bible repeatedly?
I'm referring to the ones that he made about black women and black communities, the stereotyping that stereotyped a whole group of people.
Like which
so you
one?
would put him on a list of dangerous people that should, as the Southern Poverty Center did.
I don't designate groups. I'm just.
Well, you've had
answering your
opinions on
question.
everything the Democrats asked for. I just thought you might have an opinion on that.
I shared my opinion about some of the things I heard he said, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so some of the things you heard he said, but you didn't actually see the videos. And that's one of the things that irked me during that period after Charlie's murder, that a lot of the people who attacked him, especially people who call themselves Christians, never watched any of his events, never watched any of his debates. They simply heard someone say, oh, look, that person that people are crying over is actually really a racist. And then they didn't do their own research and they said, well, I guess he's a racist. And it's crazy how many of them wanted to die on that hill without doing their own research. I mean, it's just sad.
Would you agree that a group could be good, have a great mission, do a lot of good things, but also commit crimes?
Well, I mean, anything is possible. I think
Well,
what we're
no,
talking
no,
about today is a
that was kind of a
specific
yes or no, but
organization. It's a specific organization we're talking about, though, which is Southern Poverty Law Center. And
so
I think the point is,
your opinion is they can't commit crimes because they do good?
my opinion is that we see a prosecution where we know that the Southern Poverty Law Center offered evidence and is asking for accountability about whether that exculpatory evidence was shown to a grand jury. That should concern all Americans.
Okay, Mr. O'Neill, I'll ask you essentially the same question. Would you say that Southern Poverty Law Center does some good work, at least historically?
Yes.
And having looked at the evidence, would you say that it appears to be overwhelmingly evidence of criminal activity?
I would direct audiences to page 10 of the indictment, where there's a direct quote from an employee saying, "I certify that I am the sole owner of the above named proprietorship." This is a statement to a bank in December of 2016. And then the statement from then Chief Executive Officer of the SPLC, Margaret Wong, who said that the accounts below listed were open for the benefit of the Southern Poverty Law Center operations and operated under the center's authority.
Okay, so what you have is actual evidence.
Yo, Intergalactic Wrangler, thanks for popping in. Look, I know that the live streams have been happening later than usual. Thanks for joining. Thanks for dropping a chat. I appreciate it. I'm actually thinking of figuring out a way to make it come in earlier. Okay, so I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. And there are others on the East Coast who can't make it. Okay, and I feel horrible. And I'm thinking, okay, how can I do something about moving the schedule earlier so that the rest of the guys can join? I moved it to be later because I need to put the kids to bed and, you know, do their lunch prep for the next day. So, but thanks for just hanging in there and sending in the chat. And if you're watching, hey, just let's know that you're here, and it's encouraging, you know, to see you guys in the chat.
Evidence of bank fraud.
I'd say it's black and white.
Okay.
So long as the quotes from the indictment are accurate, I have not seen.
Well, people will go to jail if those, if it turns out that, you know, that in fact it was true, but they've indicted them. So, you know, both sides are playing high risk, but it appears as though the evidence is overwhelming. Ms. Wiley, did you ever hear of the Jewish Defense League? Are you familiar with them?
I'm not familiar with them.
Okay. Anyone else familiar with them? You are. Mr. O'Neill, you're familiar with them. They go back to the days of New York City and going after basically white supremacist groups, anti-Semitic groups.
Yes.
Would it surprise you to know that Irv Rubin and Earl Kruger both went to prison for attempting to blow up my office in 2001?
I was not aware of this, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Earl Kruger later died in prison. Irv died before being tried. But
is he telling them that they're going to jail? Like, okay, that's dark.
The other was convicted and eventually actually
that is
confessed.
Dark.
So very sorry to hear that.
Here's a group you know of.
Sorry, you're sorry to hear.
They have a history of fighting anti-Semitism, something that's been mentioned on the other side, and that obviously still exists in this country, as does racism. So you can be a good group, and yet you can have criminal activity, an activity that flies in the face of what you say you stand for.
Yes.
Ms. Wiley, I asked you that question for a reason. Dr. Swan here has, in fact, a history of being falsely accused, a history of being gone after. Mr. Perkins has given these examples. The other side has spent a lot of time here today trying to tell us that it's all motivated because somehow we're persecuting people in this administration. Do you have any evidence, not anecdotally, that, oh, they picked them? Do you have any evidence that, in fact, Southern Poverty did not, in fact, commit these crimes? Do you have any firsthand evidence of that? Yes or no, please?
Well, the Southern Poverty Law Center has a motion before the court right now, which actually says that the Department of Justice admitted that they knew that the banks knew Southern Poverty Law Center owned the accounts. That is evidence in the public record that will be tried in court.
I will look forward to that in trial, and I want to thank all the witnesses today for.
All right, so that is one video. Now, look, will anyone go to jail? I don't know. You know, do you guys out there have this fatigue where it's like, oh, someone is going to jail, and then no one goes to jail, or someone is getting indicted, and then the federal judge lets them go? Like, it's getting tiring. Like, okay, we thought this was going to be an open and shut situation, but now we're seeing people slinking in and out of courtrooms, and nothing substantial is happening. And when I say substantial, people aren't going to jail. Now, let's listen to Dr. Swain, who essentially gives her testimony. Carol Swain gives her testimony about this organization because they went after her.
Chairman, member, and distinguished members of the committee, thank you for giving me the opportunity to testify today on this very important subject. I am Dr. Carol M. Swain, a former tenured professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt, and I was also tenured at Princeton. I am a woman who rose from rural poverty in Southwest Virginia, earned 5 degrees, and built a career as a scholar of race, politics, and representation. My 1993 book, Black Faces, Black Interests, won 3 national awards and was cited by the U.S. Supreme Court. Yet, starting in 2009, I became the target of a sustained smear campaign by the Southern Poverty Law Center, an organization once respected for fighting real hate, but which I believe has become a weapon against conservatives, Christians, and dissenting voices. In September 2009, I found myself in the SPLC's crosshairs after I published an article in the Huffington Post titled Mission Creep and the Southern Poverty Law Center's Misguided Focus. I argued that the SPLC had drifted from its original mission of monitoring genuine hate groups such as the KKK and the neo-Nazis towards targeting mainstream conservatives, immigration reformers, and anyone challenging progressive ideas on race and immigration.
So she challenged them, and what did they do?
I specifically criticized the SPLC's attacks on figures like Lou Dobbs and organizations like the Center for Immigration Studies. I concluded my article with the line, rather than monitoring hate groups, the Southern Poverty Law Center has become one. Within weeks of my article, the Southern Poverty Law Center retaliated. In October 2009, SPLC spokesman Mark Potok publicly labeled me as an apologist for white supremacists. This stemmed from my endorsement of a documentary film, A Conversation About Race, directed by Craig Bodecker, which I recommended for classroom use because it offered perspectives rarely heard on university campuses. This attack on me was not an isolated incident. The Southern Poverty Law Center has used guilt by association, cherry-picked quotes, and fabrications to damage and destroy reputations and organizations. There was long-term professional harm to me. Offers from other universities dried up. Speaking opportunities declined. I became kryptonite in certain academic and media circles.
And that was the intent. Okay, the Southern Poverty Law Center essentially became the Democrat Party's tool for silencing people who aren't walking in lockstep with their policies. She's black. She's supposed to be a Democrat, but no, she's conservative and a Republican. So they don't let people like her essentially thrive in academia right now. Right now, academia is more leftist than conservative. So it's just true to form, okay?
My experiences with the Southern Poverty Law Center exposed a powerful, tax-exempt organization with enormous influence over media, corporations, law enforcement, and government that can chill speech and academic freedom without any meaningful accountability. The Southern Poverty Law Center's tactics, the mission creep because it's lost sight of its original purpose, guilt by association, weaponized hate labels have broader consequences. They distort public discourse and equate policy disagreements with bigotry. They influence tech companies, public and private schools, and federal agencies in ways that marginalize conservative and religious voices. Their smear tactics undermine individuals and organizations that are fighting for the public good. I urge this committee to examine the Southern Poverty Law Center's practices, its financial operations, its influence on government partnerships, and the lack of transparency and accountability surrounding its hate group designation. Real civil rights work requires truth-telling, not retaliation against scholars who challenge orthodoxies, and certainly not the alleged financing of the hate the organization claims to fight. I hope Congress will deal with the Southern Poverty Law Center appropriately. Both political parties need to address this. This is a bipartisan issue. They should use all available means to hold this organization accountable, as you do, or as you proclaim to do with other organizations. Let's hold everyone to the same standard. Thank you for your time.
So the Democrats aren't going to do a thing about it. How do I know? Here's a Democrat, okay, responding to all of this. And he's your friendly neighborhood Hank Johnson. Okay. Now, if you don't know who Hank Johnson is, he's the same congressman who once worried that Guam might tip over from too many Marines. Okay. He literally said the island of Guam would tip over because there were too many Marines. That is the IQ of this guy, and he's in Congress. And surprise, surprise, he's a Democrat. Listen to what he has to say.
They've been very effective at suing organizations, anti-Semitism, anti-racism. They have been a thorn in the side of the racist, who I'm sure sat up in their graves. Robert E. Lee, Nathan Bedford Forrest, the former Confederate general, founder of the Ku Klux Klan, and others, Stonewall Jackson. I'm sure that they stood up in their graves.
Hank Johnson, your party essentially bankrolled and was backed by the Ku Klux Klan, okay, for decades. And I'm sure you guys are still very tightly affiliated because the Democrat Party is the party of the KKK.
And saluted when Trump was elected and when he took office, because on the first day, he eliminated all federal efforts to remedy the impact of slavery and racism in America. They call it DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Trump has tried to stop that, and the United States Supreme Court has gone along with him in ending enforcement of the ability to enforce the Voting Rights Act, which is
because it's illegal. What your party has been trying to do is illegal.
Is one of the ways that you, Miss Dr. Swain, were able to get the right to vote. I don't understand it,
May I
Ms. Wiley.
respond?
Can you tell me why it is
Please respond.
that folks today are claiming that we have no racism in America and the only extremism we have is through left-wing groups like the SPLC, and they're targeting the SPLC. Can you tell us why?
We've just seen an outright attack on all the gains of the civil rights movement for the past 60 years. And I can only say that I will never be able to explain it, but at a time when hate crimes have doubled in this country, gone up 100% since 2015, where the rise in anti-Semitism, the rise in hate against transgender people, black people still remain the #1 largest racial group subject to hate crimes, that we have to talk about racism, transphobia, all of the violence that too many of our communities are experiencing, and no one, including any of the groups here, should experience violence.
All right. I was hoping that they would let Ms. Swain respond, but I'll respond. The claims that hate crimes have increased is true. It's just that the numbers are being skewed to look like hate crimes against Black people and minorities has increased. The hate crime against conservatives has increased. Only a couple of months back, someone threw a pipe bomb at a conservative. Only last year, someone put a bullet in the neck of a conservative influencer, Charlie Kirk. Only a few weeks back, someone attempted to fire on Trump and his cabinet during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Only a couple of years back, 2 attempts on his life as well. Yeah, so I agree that hate crimes have increased. The only problem is that you guys don't report the attacks against conservatives as a hate crime. You report the crimes against conservatives as, oh, it's your fault that is happening to you because you're doing things that makes people uncomfortable. Okay, so because conservatives tell the truth and hold to common sense values, you guys think that it's a license for unhinged, insane people to attack them. So don't pardon me, okay, if I basically don't take you guys seriously. So that hearing took place, and that is essentially a lead up to what's going to happen to the SPLC. Now, I'm going to play another encounter, but we're pivoting away from the SPLC, and we're going to listen to this exchange that was quite interesting.
Knowledge that this is a bad look in America. If I'm an airline executive and I paid $1 million for this Great American Road Trip, what would I get out of that?
From me, nothing.
Well, the deck that is out there says that if you give $1 million, you get 6 VIP invitations to receptions, you get to go to roundtables, you get to networking events.
If someone from the healthcare industry gives you $2 million, what do they get for it?
What do you give them? I do not oversee the effort. I do not regulate.
You have jurisdiction.
I do not regulate.
You have jurisdiction.
I do not
$2 million to put your face on TV, to buy steak dinners,
Mr. Secretary,
to go on vacation.
Listen to my point.
That's what you do.
Mr.
Welcome to MAGA. Welcome to Drill Baby Drill.
Secretary,
are you going to drill? Do you want to support lower gas prices? I welcome that. Let's drill. Let's refine. Let's pipe fuels across the country.
You obviously of every one of us, so that instead of answering our questions,
I'm answering
your
question. You're asking me about gas prices. You have done everything you can to increase gas prices for Americans and make us buy EVs.
Mr. Secretary, this is my time.
Donald Trump is lowering the cost of energy.
You are wasting my time.
You're wasting
responding with a book of claims that you have come at us with.
You deny that you got $2 million from healthcare? I can go down the list here.
Mr. Secretary,
Mr.
Secretary, it is my time.
$102,000.
I am asking to be able to ask a question here. I do
I'm
not
just pointing
need
out your record
by a secretary who is the witness at this table that is out of order.
What did Big Pharma get for the 1.1 million that Big Pharma gave you? What did they get for it?
Mr. Secretary,
what did they get?
Seriously.
Seriously.
I find it.
I got nothing from anybody.
I find it astonishing
I do too.
that you are so angry at a question
What?
that I asked.
I'm
What?
surprised that you are, Senator.
I am
Excuse me. He doesn't look angry. He doesn't sound angry. He's sounding like he's enjoying himself. He's just enjoying himself. That he's facing down a bunch of hypocrites who are trying to claim that he's corrupt or doing something untoward, when there's record upon record of these clowns taking money from donors and from lobbyists and giving those lobbyists special treatment, and then they want to make it sound like, oh, look, Trump and MAGA are corrupt. It's weird.
I'm sitting here trying to ask a question. I'm being
Just-
interrupted rudely by a
About Big
secretary
Pharma?
who's here.
No,
Mr.
healthcare.
Secretary, let me just say this. Toyota, United Airlines, Shell, Boeing, Royal Caribbean, and Enterprise all sponsored your show. It is literally your job to make sure each of those companies are playing by the rule. So
Can I answer the
Toyota
question?
is sponsoring a show starring you, and it is your department, Mr. Secretary,
You
that
hate
decides.
America? Don't you want to celebrate America?
Mr. Secretary, it is your department
Let's
that
celebrate
decides
this
whether
country.
Toyota's
It's
next
our
recall
birthday.
is voluntary or mandatory.
No one gets anything from
Certainly,
me.
you can understand. You're not even going to
Nothing.
acknowledge that this is a
No one
bad
gets
look
anything.
in America.
It's a bad
Oh,
look.
man.
Take
I have gone
millions of
over my
dollars.
time.
I
I
know,
find
so
your answers
what
out
I-
of
what I
touch
find is-
and irresponsible.
Well, that went well. Now, I like the appointees that Trump has on his cabinet. They're all fighters. Yeah, a couple of them, have been fired essentially, but they've all they've all pushed back effectively. Now, yesterday we watched Kristen Gillibrand, I think that's her name, Senator Gillibrand, get eviscerated yesterday. Now we're going to play, because she claimed that she never took any favors. She was never put on any private jet. So, guys, we found the footage. Okay, we found the footage. So let's watch this.
$500,000 paid by the trial bar to fly you on a private jet.
I've never been on a private jet.
Zen Air.
I don't.
Zen Air?
Never been on a
Watch
private
this,
jet.
guys.
No. We don't.
$162,000
We
private
don't.
jets.
We don't. Members of
So
Congress
they pay
aren't
for you to
allowed.
fly.
A report from USA Today says that New York Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand ranked 1 and 2 in the Senate last year when it comes to tax dollars spent on charter plane flights. USA Today says Schumer spent $298,000, Gillibrand $93,000. A Schumer spokesperson says Schumer visits all 62 counties in New York each year and makes hundreds of trips upstate and couldn't do that relying solely on commercial flights. He says the plane the senator charters is so small you can't stand up in it, and it has no bathroom, he says. A Gillibrand spokesperson says she too visits all 62 counties and tries to use commercial travel whenever feasible. USA Today says only 24 of the 100 members of the Senate used charter planes in 2013.
Yeah, she never set foot on a private jet. Yeah. Well, clearly, that has been debunked because, like, this report was in 2014. Okay, they've been doing this for a long time. Now, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys what Jasmine Crockett has been up to. Jasmine Crockett and one other black Democrat rep, Ayanna Pressley. And I'm just going to play it, and then I'm going to just give my thoughts on it. But let me know your thoughts on this in the chat.
Haven't had one hearing on white supremacy. Yet when we look at things like the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the 9 worshipers who were murdered at the Mother Emanuel AME Church, the 23 people murdered in 2019 during a shooting at Walmart in El Paso, the 10 people murdered during the 2022 shooting at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, All of these were murdered by white supremacists who are empowered by the Republican Party's racist rhetoric and policies. This is the same party that wants to drag us back to the Jim Crow era. Some say that there aren't poll taxes, and I guess it's because they're not listing the amount of money. But when you tell somebody that they've got to go and pay for something, say, like a passport that costs over $100 in order to be able to vote, that looks like a poll tax to me. Some of y'all need to read up on your history books, the very same ones that the Republicans have decided that people should not hear about, because you don't want real history taught in our schools because you're afraid that it's going to hurt people's feelings to know that their ancestors were so savage that they would enslave black folk. You don't want them to understand why the 14th Amendment mattered then and it matters today.
Jasmine, the Republican Party voted 100% for the 14th Amendment to pass, while your party, the Democrat Party, didn't vote at all. Your party is the party that rejected the 14th Amendment. So don't sound like our party upheld the right of black people to vote. These people are so out of touch, okay? And maybe someday I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do a breakdown of all of these black representatives and senators in Congress, because the way it feels is that these people are elitists. They're all elitists, okay? And if you trace some of them, okay, they go all the way back. Some of them may have owned slaves. Because I can't believe that she's sitting there and trying to tell us that history proves that the Republican Party is the party that refused to pass the 14th Amendment. The Democrat Party again and again pushed back against blacks being able to vote, blacks getting citizenship. They are the party, the Democrat Party is the party that essentially empowered the KKK in order to disenfranchise black people who were voting overwhelmingly for the Republican Party in the South. So they continue to rewrite history. You're going to hear something that is insane, okay, coming up. Ayanna Pressley said something insane in this video, and like, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed it. So let's keep listening to this individual.
You don't want them to understand that when they draw these racist lines and tell black folk that they shouldn't have representation in this country, that it is against the Constitution. You want them to be ignorant so that they can sit up here and be your token for your
has
mission.
expired. Well, you can't yield because you've done run out of time.
So, well, Jasmine Crockett isn't coming back next year, so that's a good thing. But the internet is still going to have her record of all the insane things that she said. Now, they claim that black people can't vote, and this young lady decided to test that. And let's watch her get thrown out because Jim Crow 2.0 is in effect. So let's watch her.
So we're about something. We're going to attempt to do something that we hopefully don't get in trouble for. We're about to go vote. Apparently they took away our voting rights. So let me see what happens. And so we've just pulled up to my voting place. I don't think I can record in there, but I definitely can let y'all know if I get a sticker. So I just finished voting. I guess it's not illegal. I still have my voting rights. I guess that was a lie, wasn't it? Just finished. So here is my voting sticker. My mom and my sister just finished voting, and Jim Crow didn't come and require a poll tax from us, so I think we still have our voting rights. Crazy thing, there were other black people there voting, and they all had IDs to present. So where exactly was Jim Crow 2.0?
Yeah, so look, guys, anyone who takes the Democrat Party seriously when they grandstand and say the stupid, insane things that they continue to say in Congress, sometimes I ask myself the question, why do I keep doing these videos where I respond to the insane things they say? It's because they're counting on you and I to stop talking about it. They're counting on you and I to like say to ourselves, these people are crazy. No one should respond to them because everyone should know that they're crazy. They're counting on that happening. But do you know what? As long as we continue to call them out on their insanity and on their lies, we're essentially saving the kids because the kids don't have to grow up believing the insanity that they believe. Now, here's Ayanna Pressley.
One promise as Black Americans in this country when every bit of prosperity you enjoy was built on our backs. 400 years of labor. So we are long overdue for reparations. I'm proud to be the lead sponsor of HR 40. Black folks are certainly deserving of redress and reparative work, and one bill will not undo centuries of harm.
Okay, so she claims that all of the wealth being enjoyed by the citizens of the United States was built on the backs of Black people, and now she's trying to push for reparations. All right, so let's just get this out of the way. It's not going to happen, because one of the things that I hope someone in Congress pushes her back on is start out with going back to the countries that sold your ancestors to the white plantation owners and so on. Go back to those people who caught your ancestors in the bushes and sold them as slaves, and get those countries to start by paying their share of reparations. That's all I have to say about that. Because the way they make it sound is that America decided to, have these big ships, these slave ships, and they said, hey, we're going to Africa to go catch us some slaves. And then they jumped out of their boats and ran into the bushes and began to throw nets on Black people, like you saw in Roots. Okay, that didn't happen. It was Black chiefs who would go to rival villages and catch the citizens of those villages and then sell them to the slavers for guns, gunpowder, and mirrors. So Ayanna Pressley, again, just like her colleague Jasmine Crockett, claiming that the Republican Party is rewriting history and trying to expunge the fact that slavery happened. The Republican Party is not trying to do it. The Republican Party is stating the same history that everyone has known about for decades. Okay, for decades, the history books said the same thing. For decades, even the former slaves who read the history books said, hey, these things did happen. They happened. And then suddenly, because we no longer have these former slaves and you have these civil rights activists or social justice warriors who are now in Congress who need a narrative in order to justify their presence in Congress, they begin to say these crazy things. Ayanna Pressley should learn the lesson that Jasmine Crockett has just learned. If she continues to go down this path, she's going to be out of Congress soon. Okay. And let me say something that might sound very racist. The Caucasian members of the Democrat Party know how to play the game. You guys don't. You guys are obvious. You guys are just standing up and saying the obvious thing. And it's going to be impossible for you guys to roll back all of the insanity you guys have been saying for the last few years. Ayanna Pressley especially. Hopefully, the red wave hits her district and she loses her seat. Hopefully, okay? And I'm praying that happens, because we need people with common sense who can argue policy and not sentiment and not pipe dreams. Selling pipe dreams to your constituents. And can someone tell me if a congressperson is only meant to represent someone or people in her district who match their skin color. Is Jasmine Crockett trying to tell me that there's no white person in her district? Is Ayanna Pressley trying to tell me that there's no white person in her district, no Hispanic person, no Chinese person, no Indian person? Is that what they're trying to tell us? If that is the thing that they're trying to push, okay, that will spell the destruction of America. Many people talk about, how unchecked immigration is going to destroy America. The number one thing that is destroying America is tribalism, where people get into government, into office like Ilhan Omar, and in her mind, she represents the interests of Somalia, not of the United States of America. She doesn't represent the interests of white people because, according to her, white people are dangerous. White men are dangerous. Meanwhile, she's married to a white man. Guys, you can't make this up. She's married to a white man. So more and more insanity shows up. I think we're going to see most of them lose their seats. They're going to cry racism. They're going to weep and whine about it. They're going to claim that that the system is rigged, but they're horrible at their jobs. Nobody likes them. The people who are back there are just there to suck on the teeth of the opportunities that they offer them. They are just sycophants who get to pick up the crumbs that they leave when they're done stealing from the country. And that's why they're there just supporting them. That's why these guys are people who run NGOs, who get to get funding for these insane policies as long as they toe the party line. That's the way it works, guys. So I don't know, but I think just like Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Pressley is also going to lose her seat. So let's watch how that goes over the next couple of years. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Hope you liked the movie review bit that I included in there. I like watching movies. I want to enjoy hanging out with you guys and talking about stuff. And maybe eventually we can actually do movie reviews and discuss movies, because the news isn't the only thing that's happening. And most of the time, when people like Ayanna Pressley are out there claiming that reparations have to happen, do you know what? It's never going to happen. And sometimes just listening to them talking about these insane policies is like, do you guys seriously think this is going to happen? Some things aren't going to happen, but you know what? I think we try to hedge, or let's say we try to prevent the insanity from going further than it already has, because at one point we didn't believe that they were going to force men into women's sports. We thought it was never going to happen, but it did. So we're going to keep talking about this. We're going to keep calling them out. We're going to keep pushing back. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to be back tomorrow, and we're going to be looking at a few other things. We're going to be, look, it's a slow news week, okay? Iran is a slow burn. I hear that the IRGC has been handing out firearms to kids. Nothing has popped off yet, but there's a lot of saber rattling happening between the United States and Iran. We will see what happens as the talks and the as things unfold. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.